Okay, I'm going to do some demonstrations in this video. The first one is moving the vehicle off. So first of all, what I do is, in the road range, I put my foot all the way to the floor. Give it 3 seconds, and then drop it into gear. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Once I finish the H pattern, go to high range for 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now, you've got to be careful, because if you go too far, you get over here to what's called low gear, which you would only use fully loaded up a really steep hill, like a special situation where you need that extra pulling power. So, I'm in low at the moment just to give a demo, but this is what it's like taking off in low. Walking speed. And where some students go wrong is they're in low and they think that they're actually in 2. And when they make that gear change, they do this. They go from low all the way over to 3. So it sounds like this. And grinds. So it's really important when you're finding your initial gear, so there's neutral side to side, that you just feel, using your thumb, to where it just touches, and then drop it into gear. If you go too strong, and a lot of learners do it because they're anxious, they push through the spring and they get it into low. So feel it, drop it in. Oops, sorry, feel it, drop it in. Okay, there it is. Okay, the other thing too is, some students make the error with the range selector. So they get in the vehicle, they finish their driving, they come back in and they put it into gear, and when they take off, this is what happens. So I'm actually in 6 at the moment. Sorry. Maybe if I take the handbrake off, it's like this. So that will pull away because we're not loaded and we're on level ground, but you're not taking off in the ideal gear. It's still in 6 even when I push that range selector down. It only disengages when you go out and into gear. Now it's in 2. So what we'll do is we'll indicate, check the mirror, make sure it's all clear, handbrake's off, find the friction point on the clutch about halfway out, ease it out, a little bit of accelerator. Now with the up changes, one of the traps that people fall into is over revving the truck. So they get in the truck and they're all anxious and nervous. That's up on 2,000 RPMs, that's too high. It only needs to be about there, that's 1,300. If I do my double clutch technique, that goes into gear fine. But if I go out too high, it goes in perfectly. We'll just pull over here. So number one is, don't rev out the engine because you're using more fuel, the engine's working harder. Drive the truck in its appropriate rev range. So let's do another takeoff. So complete stop. I'm in neutral. Okay, so foot goes on the clutch. Find the position. Drop it into second. Check all around the vehicle, all clear. Ease the handbrake off. Pull this little valve out and down we go. Move it away nice and smooth. Preload the stick. 1, 2, double clutch. Preload the stick. 1, 2, double clutch. Cancel the signal. Pre-select high range. Start the H pattern all over again. 1, 2, double clutch. We're going to do a U-turn at the roundabout, so indicate right. Check the mirrors, all clear behind. Scan up both ways, make sure that I don't get any blockouts from my right mirror here. Lean and look. Take it nice and wide. Work that steering wheel, keep the scanning going. Left indicator to depart. Let the wheel straighten up and follow the road. I'm going to work it up to 6. Now, if I don't get the positioning right, this is what happens. So 5 to 6 is straight back on the stick. But if I pull the stick towards me, it'll end up between 6 and 8. This is what happens. It won't go in, and people think there's something weird going on, but it's actually the positioning is off. Now, if I'm out of gear and I try to put it back in by putting the clutch in and pulling it into gear, it'll grind. It won't go into gear. To get it back into gear, I need to come off the clutch. I need to rev it up, put the clutch in, and put it into gear. I'll do that correction again. So, if I lose the gears, 1, get off the clutch. 2, pick a gear that suits the speed. I'm going pretty slow at the moment. I'm only on 15 k's an hour. So I'm going to go low range and I'm going to go back down to 4. Rev, clutch, drop it into gear. Maybe I could have just timed that a little bit better to get rid of that grind. I've got a red light, brake, clutch, stop behind the white line, reset it. I can be in 2 or 3, but I'm going to go in 2. You want to use an appropriate gear to take off. You burn your clutch out if you take off in too high a gear. Okay, so first of all, looking up ahead, I've got a red light. I've got a stream of traffic coming through. So I'm just waiting here patiently. If I wanted to put the truck back in neutral, I could pull the handbrake on as well. But what we want to make sure of is to keep the traffic flowing, that when those lights turn green, we're good to go. So I can just relax for a little bit, vehicle's secure, and when I preempt that we're about to get a traffic light change, I'll start my setup procedure. When you're driving a road ranger, you need to be well organised with everything that you do. So I'm sort of thinking about now I'm going to go clutch in, make sure it's in low range, feel that gate there, ease the clutch just a little bit, drop it in, handbrake off, scan, 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 and away we go. Quick change up to 3, quick change to 4. Get it around the corner, mirror checks, high range, preload, and 5. Mirror checks, look up ahead, clutch, clutch, half clutch, only to the friction point. 7, 1, 2, double clutching. Okay, I'm going to go down the gears now. If you over rev the engine on a down change, this is what happens. I'm changing from 7 down to 6. So listen to this. Grinding and going in. It did go into gear, but I revved it up too high, then it came back down, and then it dropped in. So you have to be wary not to over rev the engine. If you over rev the engine, it'll grind. But as the engine drops, it will drop back into gear. I'm taking off at 1 this time. Clutch, 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 clutch. High range, pre-select, preload. 1, 2, clutch, clutch. 6, clutch, clutch. 7, clutch, clutch. 8, clutch, clutch. Now what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to under rev the engine so that it's not a big enough rev on the right foot. So you hear it grinding. I'll do it again just to make the point. I'm going to under rev on the right foot. Won't go in. So you see people doing this, they have to rev it like this. Vroom. It's the sound it makes. You've got to kick it so that red needle goes from, if it's on 1100, kick it up to 1500. If you only do half the rev as half as big, it'll grind. Okay, I'm in 7, mirror checks, up to 8, clutch, clutch. So scanning, I've got a bike lane here, so I'm looking out for cyclists. Got a green light up ahead. I don't have any vehicles to the sides, no bicycles, no pedestrians. These will probably stay green. Yep, still green, we're through. What I'm going to do next is go up to 8 high, so there's a little red switch where my thumb is. I'm going to flick it forward. So flick it forward, it won't actually engage from 8 low to 8 high until I come off the accelerator, clutch it, now I'm up to 8 high. I'm following the road. If I want to go back to 8 low, I flick the red switch back. Clutch it, and now I'm into 8 low. Let's repeat that process. 8 high to 8 low, flick the switch forward, off the accelerator, clutch in, clutch out, I'm in 8 high. So this would be the gear I'd be in when I'm out on the freeway doing 100 k's an hour. Okay, I'm going to drop it back to 8 low, flick the switch back, off the accelerator, clutch in, clutch out, and I'm in 8 low. Okay, I'm going to follow the road. So those half gears can be really, really handy when you've got weight on the vehicle, and sometimes with the way the ratios are on the gear, jumping it from, let's say, 6th gear to 7th gear, 7th gear can be too big a jump. So sometimes just that half extra gear, like 6 high, can can be really handy in certain situations. Okay, I'm going to drop it down. Well, I'm going to stay in 8 at the moment because we're in a 70 zone, still green. Okay, now we're stopping, late notice. I'm just going to brake it. Bring on the clutch the last 10 meters and stop behind the white line. Okay, clutch goes down. I'm going to take off in 3 this time because we're actually going off down a hill. I'm in low range. Just keeping my awareness up of what's around me. Checking my gauges periodically. Not just for the speed, but also just monitoring the temperature, the pressure. Waiting. Okay, scan, all clear. Moving off in 3. Clutch to 4. Go to high range. Clutch to 5. Scanning. Clutch to 6. Looking up ahead. 70 zone. Clutch to 7. Red light up ahead. It's about 400 meters, so I've got plenty of time. Clutch to 8. Scanning. Okay, what I want to do now is we want to keep the momentum of the vehicle going. So I'm going to drop it down 1 gear now. I'm in 7. Lights are still red. Drop it down to 6. Tacho goes down to 10. Rev it to 14. Drop it in. Lights are still red. Down to 10. Rev it to 14. Drop it in. Lights are still red. Go to low range. Drop it down to 4. Lights are still red. 3. 2. Lights are still red. Looks like we're actually going to end up stopping here, so I'll just pull it up. But I'm actually in 2. And away we go. Mirror checks, looking for motorbikes, looking for cyclists. There's 3. Clutch. 4. High range selected. 5. Scanning this slip lane. 6. Mirror checks. Look up ahead. 7. Watching this road to the side. 8. Preload. 1. 2. Straight back. Speedo check. We're on 70. Still powering up. Taking in warning signs as well, so I know what's coming up ahead. A lot of people don't look at the warning signs, but the warning signs help us drive in a defensive manner. So when I look up ahead here, I've got a yellow and black sign telling me that the road is going around to the right. So if this isn't my local area, that's giving me plenty of notice as to what's coming up. And I can still keep my eyes up ahead as opposed to on a device or something here. Okay, so we're all good. 70 zone. The next warning sign tells me that there's a sharp bend around to the right. So there's the big yellow rectangle with the black arrow pointing. Now I can see a red light up ahead. Go to the foot brake. Wash off the speed. Drop it to 6. More foot brake. Push the tacho down. Down to 5. More foot brake. Low range. Drop it down to 4 and pull it up. About half a truck length behind the car in front. We're downhill, so I'm going to go off on 3 on this occasion. So I've got the vehicle secure. I can use the handbrake the park brake if I want. Okay, park brake's on. Just relax, got one hand. Okay, park brake off. Scan the mirrors. Ease the clutch out. A little bit of accelerator. Clutch to 4. Didn't really pull it in hard enough there. High range and 5. Scan the intersection. 6. Preload. 7. Scanning. Looking up ahead. 8. I got a warning sign telling me there's traffic lights up ahead around the bend. They're currently green. Following the road. I'm in 8. Stay in this lane. Still green. I'm just easing off the accelerator. Watching the lights. Still green. Okay, we're going to be through this set. Got a warning light. Warning sign telling me the road goes around to the left. Got a warning sign telling me that this area is slippery when wet. It's a dry day, thank goodness. I'm in 8. Speed zone 60. Left lane turns left. We want to go straight ahead. Mirror checks. Eyes up ahead. Lights are still green. Lights are still green. Okay, we're through another set. Scan. Mirror checks. Road position check. 60, yep, we're right on 60. I'll put a bit of exhaust brake on here. We're nowhere near a residential area, so no dramas. Got two stages on the exhaust brake here. This one knocks it down fairly hard. Left lane ends merge right, so I go to the mirror check. Lights are green. Lights are still green. Lights are still green. And we're through another set. Scan to the sides. Mirror check. Speed check, we're on 60, knock it down a gear. There's 7th. Monitoring the vehicles around me. Coming up to a roundabout. Both lanes go straight ahead. Knock a bit of speed off. Knock it down a gear to 6. Knock it down a gear to 5. Maintaining my lane. Left indicator. Take care on corners and bends. Stay in my lane. If I don't need that other lane, don't use it. Double clutch up to 6. Double clutch up to 7. Lights are green. Lights are still green. Mirror checks. Scan side to side. Still green. We're through another set. Ease off. Coming up to a bend. Ease off. Once I'm around the bend, get a good look up ahead. I've got a red light about 300 metres up ahead. Just easing. Coming down to 7. Following the road. I'm just going to hold it at 7 for the moment. Still 7. Lights are green. Lights are still green. Okay, we're through another set. We're going to go to 8. We're on 50 k's an hour. Mirror checks. Checking these driveways. Oh, there's a kid here riding behind the bushes there on the island, so watch him. Lights are green. Still green. Still green. Still green, and we're through another set. The lady on the road up ahead. Okay, she's in her vehicle, she's safe. Right mirror check, just to make sure I have an escape on the right. Watching these side streets, keeping my eyes on the move. Okay, aiming high on the steering, which means I'm looking along. I can see a red light up ahead, about 10 seconds ahead of me. Okay, lights have just gone green. They may even change back by the time I eventually get there. Staying to the right of the lane, because I've got a service vehicle on the right here. No one's in my right lane, so I know that's safe. Lights are green. Monitoring. Lights are still green. Okay, we're through another set of lights. Got a bus stop up ahead. It's vacant, all clear. Following the road. Mirror checks, all clear. No one's in my immediate vicinity. Lights have just turned red up ahead, about 12 seconds ahead. So what I'm going to try and do is time my run so that by the time I get up there, they've changed back to green. So I'm in 8 at the moment. Change down to 7. Ease off. Put off the brake. Just let the engine braking do its job. 7 down to 6. Lights have gone green. I've got to wait for the cars that are queued up to move. Okay, all clear. Up to 7. Scan both sides. Got a little bit of activity around me with vehicles. Keep the mirror checks up. Red light up ahead. The further up ahead we look, the earlier we recognise what's happening, the more time we have to make plans about how to manage it. So I'm in 8 at the moment. 7. Just letting the vehicle wind down. I'm on 1,000 RPMs. Rev it to 1,400, drop it in. Just ease off. work it down to 5. Lights are still red. I could pull up and stop in 5, but I'm just going to go low range in 4. Lights are green. I've got to wait for 8 cars to move off. So the cars are now moving off. I'm just creeping in 4th gear. A little gear change down to 3. And we're away. Clutch, clutch, up to 4. High range selected. Clutch, clutch, up to 5. Look up ahead. Clutch, clutch, up to 6. Scan the intersection. Clutch, clutch, up to 7. Follow the road. Mirror checks. Speed checks. Speedo checks. 7th gear.